Well, you know, the fall and winter kind of makes me sad because I can't get in my garden anymore, but you know, I have a solution.
And what is that, Judy?
Indoor gardening.
That's right. And you know, there's a great new product by Lechuza, which is a self-watering container. Now, before we start replanting this orchid, let me just tell you what that really means. A self-watering container is simply a pot that has no drainage hole and an insert like this one here. Now, the real big key for any self-watering pot is some kind of wicking system. Now, sometimes that's the pottery itself, but quite often it is actually a wick that goes up through the pot and then goes back down into the water. Now, this one from Lechuza also adds this handy little indicator which has maximum and minimum on this glass tube. What that's going to provide you is the ability to see when the well, which is at the bottom of this container, has actually gone dry. Now, there's all different kinds of plants you can put in this, Judy, but the orchids actually have some specific things. So let's talk about this one right here.
You know, I think orchids scare people so much, and they're really one of the easiest houseplants to have. In the wild, they grow up in trees, and they're just hanging on to the trees, so you don't have to really make sure they're soaking wet all the time. So with the self-watering, it's going to really be just pulling water when it needs it. Now, orchids are a little bit different than any other plant that you'd be planting in there because it has like a medium that's, for this one, it's moss, sometimes it's bark. And what you want to do is pull it out of its pot, and you want to take all of this moss off of the roots, because Lechuza gives you some different soil medium to use.
It really does. Now, this is a great product for orchids because it doesn't really retain moisture like regular potting soil. If you are going to be planting other houseplants in this, you can quite often use the potting soil that they come with. Just read the instructions that come with this pot. So I'm going to fill this about halfway up. As you can see, it's just covering the wick. And then Judy has the hard task of getting all of the moss off of these and cutting it out. And don't be afraid to have to cut some of the roots if you're doing this.
It's fine. And this has a double cage on it.
It does.
And I am, you know, breaking a couple of the roots, but really this is a very nice, healthy orchid, and it will just regenerate roots.
It's also a great time, Judy, when you're doing this, to see if there are any maybe dead roots or some that have gotten a little too much water and too much moisture. You can take those out then and help the plant in the long run.
Right.
Oh, and under this one, there's actually some bark. Sometimes it'll have bark in it. Sometimes it'll be all moss. So you just have to wait until you get in there.
Oh my gosh, it is very vigorous. There you go.
Now, once that's all pulled out, you can really see the root system. And like we said, don't be upset if you lose some roots there. It'll be fine. Right. Nature is very forgiving.
And this one has a little bit of a stake, so we're going to put that down in there too so that it helps keep the flowers nice and strong there.
And then all you do, she's going to shake it as I fill it up. Now remember, just because they give you all of this doesn't mean you have to use it all. If you get to the top,
I think we just might, though. Let me turn it around here. It makes a nice little kind of soil look there, too. It's nice and clean looking.
There you go.
Right. Oh, it's nice and stable, too. You
know, go ahead, Jude.
Oh, I think the last step is going to be watering it.
I can do that.
Okay.
Now, and on this one, too, they do tell you that you just water right through the top. Some of them have a little side hole, and you water through that. But this one, you just pour it through, and I bet you anything, Judy, as we fill this with water,
I see the indicator.
There it is. And so I'm just going to go up to maximum, and then I know I'm done.
You know, I think that one of the #1 problems with houseplants is overwatering, and I think we just love them to death. We always think that they need a drink, and especially in the winter, our houses are a little cooler. There's not as much light to help that water evaporate. Yeah. So I think the self-watering pot is really going to cure all that.
So whether you pick a great product from Lechuza or another self-watering pot, you can go to any of your independent garden centers and find a great selection there.